Hello everyone, I'm WillyMammoth and welcome back to another top 10 video. I've been wanting to do this video for a few years now. Today we'll be taking a look at 10 of the scariest enemies in non-horror video games. The only rule for this list is that the enemy cannot be from a game that is marketed as a horror game. I can make entire lists about enemies from games like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, or Outlast. But without further ado, let's begin. Super Mario 64 has to be my absolute favorite Mario game, and I know a lot of other people will share that same opinion. It was the plumber's first adventure in a fully 3D game, and it instantly became a fan favorite. You may think a game like Super Mario may be fun and happy, but there are actually quite a few creepy moments in this game. From the haunted piano in Boo's castle to Bowser's lava levels, the game certainly is not afraid to shift to a more darker tone from time to time. As a person with thalassophobia, that is, the fear of deep water, the scariest moment in Super Mario 64 for me has to be the giant eel from the level Jolly Roger Bay. The level being almost completely underwater is enough to rack my nerves, but having the player need to dive down into a sunken ship where a giant scary eel pops out at you is horrifying. I remember first playing this level as a kid and freaking out when the eel poked its head out at me. This level is now infamous among Mario fans, as it definitely stuck with anyone who played the game.
Hold up. There are deathclaws all over the damn place north of here. I'd turn back if I were you. If you want to get to New Vegas, you're better off heading east from Primm and then looping north. It's a heck of a lot safer. Have you ever seen a deathclaw? They're taller than a man and far, far stronger and faster. And there's a whole pack of them out there. You'd have to be the meanest, toughest, roughest bastard in the wasteland to have any chance against them, and I don't think that's you. You'd need to take out the pack leaders, the mother deathclaw and the deathclaw alpha male. Kill them and the pack will scatter. Pretty tough job.
Every Fallout player remembers their first encounter with a deathclaw. For me, it was in Fallout New Vegas. Ignoring the many warnings given by NPCs and wooden signs, I ventured into Quarry Junction without a second thought. It was only until I heard the hard, heavy, and fast footsteps behind me that I turned around and was ripped to shreds by a giant lizard known as a deathclaw. Deathclaws are one of the most iconic Fallout enemies and are a staple of the series. They come in many different shapes and sizes throughout the games, and some can even talk. For a game series known for its mutated monsters, the deathclaw certainly is on a level of its own.
For Twinkle Toes.
Mad Max is one of the best games I have played that has come out in the last 10 years. It was a great open-world game set in one of my favorite fictional universes, and I highly recommend you play it. However, the game also has one of the scariest enemies I have ever encountered in any video game, the buzzards. The buzzards are a group of Russian bandits that inhabit the sandier regions of the game world. They set up ambushes on the sides of roads and bury themselves in the sand to attack anyone unfortunate enough to get out of their cars. At one point in the game, Max must travel into a now fully underground airport to retrieve some lights. Inside the airport's dark tunnels, Max is harassed and attacked by the red-eyed buzzards in one of gaming's creepiest moments. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is a spin-off of the critically acclaimed Far Cry 3. The game takes place in a dystopian version of the year 2007, where a cyborg soldier named Rex Powercolt must, to quote the wiki, get the girl, kill the bad guys, and save the world. In a game like this, you might not think there would be many, if any, creepy enemies. Enter the Blood Dragon.
What's up with all the blue goo?
Dr. Darling mentioned they possess poor eyesight. Crouching may be advisable. The creature is emitting bioradiation. I've calibrated your scanner to alert you to their presence.
There are many blood dragons scattered around the map, and the player can be attacked by them. In one scene, the player must stealthily traverse through a nest of blood dragons. That was one of the most intense scenes in any non-horror game I have ever played. The blood dragons can even help the player by attacking enemy outposts at the same time as you do. Tomb Raider is a series that is no stranger to creepy enemies. I can make an entire list talking about enemies from that series, but perhaps the scariest of them all is from Tomb Raider 1. Towards the end of the game, Lara Croft enters the Great Pyramid of Atlantis. The level itself is covered in pulsating, fleshy masses, and the ambient noises are horrific. The pyramid is home to many creatures known as Atlanteans, which are beings that look like they are made up of only muscle and bones. They possess inhuman strength and gallop toward Lara with incredible speed. There are also flying versions of these enemies, in case these ones weren't enough to give you nightmares. Subnautica is not supposed to be a horror game, but for someone like me who has thalassophobia, it is literally my worst nightmare. The vast ocean itself is more than enough to make me quit the game in fear, but the cute fish help to ease my nerves. Most of the smaller enemies in the game aren't that scary, and they are easy to deal with. It is only when the player ventures far out, near the downed spaceship called the Aurora, that you will find one of the most terrifying creatures in gaming history, the Reaper Leviathan.
Oh, it's got me! No, get off!
As its name suggests, the Reaper is a Leviathan-class superorganism that stalks the open waters of planet 4546b. The Reaper Leviathan is actually one of many different types of Leviathans you can encounter, with others such as the Ghost Leviathan and the Sea Dragon Leviathan. It was hard to just choose one monster from Subnautica, but since the Reaper is the most common you will face, I decided to choose that one. The Uncharted series is one of my all-time favorites. I loved playing as Nathan Drake as he solved riddles, explored ancient tombs, and discovered vast treasures. Uncharted isn't really a series known for being too scary. In fact, it's oftentimes quite the opposite. But one moment from the very first Uncharted game has stuck with me ever since I first played it. At some point in the game, Drake is forced to fight against what are known as the descendants. Terrifying creatures that are the direct descendants of Spanish explorers who stole treasure from the infamous city of El Dorado. They have transformed into nightmarish creatures that possess inhuman speed and strength. It was definitely one of the more darker moments in the entire franchise. Death Stranding is a very unique game created by the ever-enigmatic Hideo Kojima. The game has you play as Daryl Dixon, Sam Porter Bridges, as you deliver packages across post-apocalyptic America. The job is already hard in and of itself, but it gets even harder when the timefall begins. Timefall is a type of rain that rapidly ages whatever it touches, so not only is it terrible for you, it is terrible for your cargo as well. And if that wasn't enough, the coming of Timefall signifies the coming of what the game calls BTs, or Beached Things. To directly quote the game's wiki, Beached Things are entities whose souls are stranded in the world of the living, following the events of the Death Stranding. What makes the BTs so scary is the fact that you can't even see them unless you get too close. Thankfully, Sam's bridge baby is able to sense a BT, and can help you out a lot in those situations. But be careful, because loud noises can alert a BT to your location, so be sure to move low and slow. If a BT catches you, a pool of black liquid will form around Sam, with dozens of human souls reaching up from the sludge to grab at Sam and pull him down. The BT will then transform and begin attacking you. SWAT 4 is an already intense, tactical first-person shooter. The game certainly has its fair share of creepy locales, but perhaps the creepiest is the Fairfax residence, home of suspected serial killer Lawrence Fairfax. Lawrence is wanted for the suspected murders of around 7 women, and he's also suspected as having another woman hostage in the house. As you and your team enter his home, you find it to be dark and eerily quiet. Lawrence also left many pieces of evidence to taunt you as you venture through the house.
If you can hear me, honey, I love you very much. And I'd like to say to whoever took her, I beg you, please, please bring my daughter back. Please. Please.
That was the mother of Melinda Klein, an apparent victim of the so-called law school lyncher.
As you make your way through the house, careful to check your corners, you may encounter Lawrence's mother, who seems to either be an accomplice or not even know what is going on.
How dare you come in here?
Up! Get those hands up! No! Police, hands up!
Oh, my heart can't take this.
Get those hands in the air! Do it now!
My Lawrence didn't do anything.
Entry team to talk.
He
Civilian
couldn't
secured.
have.
As you slowly continue to clear rooms, the only way forward is to go down into the basement. Creeping down the wooden stairs, you are greeted by a dugout hallway that leads further underground. Eventually, you will find the missing woman among many barbaric torture devices. Lawrence will be down there as well, and you will need to either arrest him or shoot him if he attacks you.
Police, get down! Get those hands in the air!
can't take
Do
her
it,
away
police,
from me.
hands up!
TOC, this is entry team.
Get those
We
hands
found
in
an
the air!
unidentified
Do it
female
now!
victim in need of medical assistance.
What makes Lawrence so scary is the fact that he's human. Serial killers live among us, and they can easily blend in with everyday people. There is no telling what sick length someone will go to just to feel an edge. Lawrence is a depraved killer, and I am glad to have brought him to justice in my many playthroughs of SWAT 4.
Show me your hands, now! Get down and put your hands up!
Oh God, get me out of here.
For this list, I actually have 3 honorable mentions. The first one being the aforementioned haunted piano from Super Mario 64. Need I say any more? Our second honorable mention is Killer Croc from Batman Arkham Asylum. Killer Croc is a terrifying villain. The water sections of this level really did bother me. And our third honorable mention goes to the Re-Deads from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
I never got to play the Zelda games growing up, so I have never seen this until now, and it is one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen in a video game. When I first played Batman Arkham Knight, I was blown away at how fun the game was. It really captured what it would feel like to be the Caped Crusader, and never in a million years would I think that this game contained one of the scariest enemies I have ever seen, Man-Bat. Man-Bat is the mutated Dr. Kirk Langstrom, who was working on a cure to a terminal illness he had. The cure twisted his DNA, and turned him into a half-man, half-bat creature. Man-Bat breaks out of his lab, kills his own wife, and soars the skies of the now lawless Gotham City. The player is first introduced to Man-Bat during an incredible jump scare, when the player tries to grapple to a roof. After that, players will hear Man-Bat's horrific screeches in the night. If the player successfully catches Man-Bat a few times, Batman will be able to cure the Doctor and turn him back into a human. The Joker even recreates the Man-Bat jump scare later in the game, just in case you forgot about how terrifying it was.
I got him! Batman! My location! He's over there!
The look on your face when you saw him. I would have thought the big bad Batman, scared of his own reflection.
Alright, that does it for today's video, everyone. If you liked what you saw, please like the video and subscribe for more. And be sure to comment down below what your scariest enemies in non-horror video games are. As always, I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.